Hi all. So this is Kaledo knit. So again, this is for kind of designing your different knit patterns that we'll talk about in class and in the knit module. Now the great thing is if you've gotten used to weave and weave seemed pretty simple to you, knit is going to be, it's so much of the same thing. Slight different terminology differences. Actually, with knit, you have a lot more freedom because knit designing does have more freedom. There's things called, essentially intarsias, which I know a few years back, well, maybe more, like 10 years back, but it's a very like Swedish Nordic kind of thing where, you had like, like a single design of like a deer or a llama, and that's like an intarsia. You can really just like design anything you want, and then you can either repeat it or you could just have the one single thing. Of course, for the assignment, I'm making you do one stripe and then one pattern. But like things like argyle, intarsias, just all of those kinds of patterns, you essentially can do here in knit. So there's just a lot of freedom. So when you open this up, this little stitches that you see is the knit stitch. And then the purl is essentially the like looped. So like I was kind of typing about in the module, what you see here, if the front and the back looked exactly like this, that would be a rib. Actually, let's just look at this real quick. So now if I did the stitch, so if it all looked like this, like these loops, that would be, if it was looped like this on both the front and the back, that would be a purl. Now I'm designing a jersey here. So my front looks like this, but then when I flip it over, it's different and has the loops. So essentially ribs and purls look the same front and back. It's just essentially with the rib, you see all of the knit stitch. With the purl, you see all the purl stitch on the front and back. And then jersey is kind of the mix between. So the front looks like you see the knit, and the back you see the purl. So that's an important thing to know. I remember my first day at Gap, my boss had to tell me that, and I felt like such an idiot. So don't be the idiot like I felt like. Okay, so knit. Knit has a very similar interface than weave, which is awesome. I have some of these pinned over because you don't really work with like a swatch like you do in weave, so that's a little different. You really do see it like this, so a lot of these things get tucked to the side. So if you need to see it, just go into Windows, and then click the things that you want to see. Or they'll be like kind of tabbed over here. So this is like my yarn, so I choose my yarn. So again, just like in weave, you can pick from a bazillion yarns. I'm keeping it all to the default just to make it easy here, but you can explore and, really pick whatever you want. So everything from, you really can go like all these different cotton yarns, and you just kind of, plus these all open and see what you see. Something my son always says, let's open the box and see what we see. And you just push add, and you can add as many as you want. You can have different yarns. Every color could be a different yarn. So why not? Let's just add this one. Let's have each one of my colors, just for the fun of it, be a different yarn. So these are my yarn palette. I have 3 different ones. Again, with the stitch, that's essentially your construction. So you can do jersey. There are tuck stitches, which is super fun. Miss stitches, which kind of make a lot of like of your pointels, waffles, things like that. There's the cables. So cable knits, which excuse me. Which like your argyles can be that way, or your different intarsias, or you can just do it different laces. So many. I'm keeping to my basic jersey. I love a good jersey. And then my colored yarn. So my first one is this. So I'm actually going to do my second one, this guy, and my third guy, this guy. Not to genderize my yarns. I don't know why I do that. So as you can see, I picked heathers here. So you get to kind of choose all three. I'll show you how to kind of do that just to switch it up. So essentially you always want to make sure that you're in design mode. So if you switch it and you essentially can't do anything, a lot of times you get these like it's kind of the mill card version, you've accidentally put yourself in palette data. So just make sure you see the brush, meaning you can design things. You always want to make sure that your work with colored yarns is clicked and your work on stitch is clicked. This right here is your free hand drawing tool. So this is really kind of fun and different. And I'll show you that in just a second on like another video after I do the interface. Other things you'll want to know, these are like your draw tools. So remember in Weave, you essentially clicked a button for the vertical and then you unclicked it for doing the filling. With this, you have draw whales and draw courses. So whales are your vertical, courses are your horizontal. That's very like sweater knitting grandma like terminology. So if you're in the sweater area, you'll hear that a lot. These are if you want to select, and basically you can draw and then fill certain things if you want it to be a specific square and circle, which I'll show you in other videos in drawing. Obviously your edge finders, and then always you can then just select. These selecting whales and courses are great if you want to copy and paste. So if you want to make one, course or whale, then you can just copy it and then copy and paste. So those are kind of your big ones. Oh, these are kind of fun too. These essentially you're copying and pasting, but mirroring each other. Either on the vertical or horizontal or essentially on the diagonal. So those are kind of fun because again, you can kind of create all these like little flowers and then kind of toss them if you want to. So you have it's just a little bit more freedom in knit, which is very much the knit product category. There's a lot of freedom. There's a lot of, it's more of a breathable, movable, flexible fabric. So I'm going to kind of just pause here because this is kind of basic interface. And then we'll get into drawing tools in the subsequent videos. All right, thanks.